No one knows what Donald Trump is thinking, not even Donald Trump, because think about it. No, follow me down the rabbit hole here. No. Oh, gears within gears, because if he knew what he was thinking, he might let it slip. That's why he keeps his mind perfectly blank.
When something is explained this way, it stops sounding like a strategy and starts sounding like confusion. If no one really understands what's going on, that doesn't create control. It creates uncertainty. It almost feels intentional, like keeping things vague prevents anything from being revealed. But now, that uncertainty isn't just limited to one room, it's unfolding on a global scale, especially with rising tensions involving Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical shipping routes. Just last week, Trump described the situation as not our problem. Now suddenly, there's a strict deadline, telling Iran to reopen the strait within 48 hours, with threats of further action if it doesn't happen. This is where things start to shift. When deadlines keep changing and statements are constantly revised, it stops feeling like a clear plan and starts to feel unpredictable. At one point, the deadline was April 6th, then it changed again, to the next day. The back and forth continues. One day it's not urgent, the next day it is, and then another deadline appears. That kind of inconsistency doesn't just confuse people, it raises real questions about what the actual strategy is. Then the tone sharpens. What starts as confusion turns into criticism. Even comedians like Jimmy Kimmel highlight the pattern, pointing out how statements keep shifting, making it
Trump was saying last week when he said the strait is a problem that's, quote, not for us. But now he's back in with a hard deadline of tomorrow night. Power plants, if Iran didn't reopen the strait within 48 hours, or 2 days after that when he postponed strikes.
harder to ignore what's happening. At the same time, the situation becomes more serious. There are claims that Iranian citizens would support aggressive actions, even bombings, as a path to freedom. That kind of rhetoric escalates things further, especially when discussions begin to involve targeting critical infrastructure like water systems. Experts warn that any disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could have major consequences for global stability and energy supplies. At this point, it feels less like a defined policy and more like a moving target. One statement replaces another, one deadline replaces the last, and people are left trying to figure out what actually matters. Then something else happens. The focus shifts. Instead of staying on the inconsistencies or the risks, attention moves elsewhere. Sometimes it's humor, sometimes distraction.
My fellow Americans, we are ending our war in Iran. Actually, let me back up a second. We're doing a war in Iran. I forget why. Is it part of Venezuela? Where'd that go from? Trump's been all over the map when it comes to Iran. First, he said he wouldn't leave until the
Sometimes a complete reframing of the issue. And that shift matters. Because when attention moves away, so does the pressure. That's what makes this situation stand out. It's not just what's being said, it's how often it changes, and how quickly people move on before fully processing it. The audience is left trying to keep up, connecting statements from one day to the next, searching for anything consistent. And that's the real story, consistency. Because as this continues, the bigger question isn't just about Iran or the Strait of Hormuz. It's about leadership style, communication, and whether unpredictability is a deliberate strategy or a serious problem. Moments like this don't just disappear. They keep coming back, each time with new statements.
Plan, according to an unnamed member of his administration, who said, this isn't 3D chess, it's 12-dimensional. He contradicts himself regularly so nobody knows what he's thinking. It's on purpose. Yes, it's cunning. Bent on blowing up the Constitution. And this morning, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments on Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship, which the 14th Amendment has guaranteed for more than 150 years. Yes, birthright citizenship. Yes. While Trump may be close to ending the bombing campaign of Iran, he's still hell-bent on blowing up the Constitution. And this morning, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments on Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship, which the 14th Amendment has guaranteed for more than 150 years. Yes, birthright citizenship. Yes, thank you. I didn't do it, but thank you. Birthright citizenship is as American as mom, apple pie, and baseball, literally, because
new reactions and new layers. And when everything keeps changing, people don't tune out. they start paying even closer attention.